All right, just about 30 seconds before the start of this next match, watching Chicago Aftershock taking on the Bushwackers. I'm lucky enough to have Rich Telford up here with me. Rich, seriously, are you going to let that other team score that many points on you guys in that last match you played, or what? I mean,
obviously you didn't see the Vicious score. If you watch the Vicious game, you would be saying just the opposite. Like, wow, Rich, were you just giving them points away? We had one of our infamous meetings last night.
Yeah.
Where I told everyone how much I liked them and respected them, and how great of paintball players I thought they were. And we had a little bit of a meeting again this morning, reaffirming again how big of fans I was, and hopefully they're going to do better now.
All right, so here's the breakout. We got Chicago and Bushwackers, and looks like Ryan Podesta getting shot, trying to make it out to that snake corner.
Wow, Chicago's pushing hard into that snake. Already in the 50 snake. That's a real big move from him.
Now he's trying to chop it up down across field. Ooh, might have got him in the pack, no? Oh, look at Shane House getting destroyed, trying to get up that center Dorito.
Neil Everly filled the snake corner for the Whackers.
And Neil getting dinked out. He tries to get that, and Prince trying to fill out.
This game's over. It's 5-on-1 or 5-on-2, Chicago.
And now hunting. Looks like Nick Sloviak's going to try to run that last player down. Hope he doesn't run out of bounds. He does. Doesn't really matter, though, as Prince gets polished off.
Yeah, I had a talk with Neil last week when we practiced with him, and I was like, hey, man, you guys are a great, great team. I was like, but I think there's going to be a little bit of a learning curve when you start playing X-Ball because they're such a methodical, kind of slow. Even they're really good players like Neil and Prince and Ryan are super good, smart, methodical players, but X-Ball is about flipping that switch, seeing the opportunity and getting up and going before the other guy figures it out.
Well, it's also about kind of like you got to flip that switch, so you need to have the ability to play smart, but it's like we've been saying, smart aggression. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, controlled aggression. I mean, one of the, like in the semi-pro bracket.
So it looks like we've got a replay here. If we could just gear it up. Doesn't look like we got it, but yeah. So you were saying, Rich?
I don't remember. Palm Beach Vipers is one of the semi-pro teams. Those kids, man, when they see an opportunity, it's like lightning. They are all the way down the field on the other side of the field before the other team can figure it out. And some of the teams that are coming into the PSP at the pro level this year aren't reacting nearly as quickly as they are because they just haven't played it long enough. And even though they're a higher caliber player, they're not reacting as quickly as they need to.
And it's the reaction. That's the difference at this format, though. It really is the reaction level and like the timing. So it's like, I mean, and you can't even really. You can't teach that to these guys. It's just a matter of them getting reps in this format and then coming out and then taking those lumps and realizing, okay, well, because like, for instance, they played really well against the Naughty Dogs, and then, like that last point, they just didn't quite have that oomph, and then the first couple games are just a bloodbath.
I think things like this webcast, too, are a great opportunity because you get to go back and look at it over and over again and say, wow, this guy shot that guy, and immediately flew down the field and shot 3 other guys. And then, wow, I shot this guy, and I just sat there and loaded my pod and wondered what was going on. And a coach can see the difference between the two with something like this and say, hey, this is what you have to go towards, and this is what you have to go away from.
And it's interesting you say that because, like, Graham, the coach of the All-A's, came up, and I just talked to Tim, and I was like, I heard you guys have been able to watch the finals of the World Cup. He's like, yeah, I don't ever want to watch that again. I've had to watch it a million times now. But it's about picking up on those mistakes, Because a lot of times we're up here, we got about, looks like a timeout called. But, yeah, it's a good point, though, is that, we're seeing a lot of times where no one's shooting at a guy. He's out. It's like, okay, you head checked and you got out. Now you're on your lane. Still no one's fighting you. You should be able to know that now, okay, well, now I can look around, and if no paint's coming through that lane too, make the move, man.
Yeah, and it's so hard as a coach to tell your players that in practice because we've been going over for the last 8 weeks. And I'm
8
like,
years?
Well, I mean, 8 weeks we've been practicing really hard for this event. And I'm like, when we go to this event, and this guy goes to the corner and no one's shooting at him, he's going to fly down the field.
Yeah.
And if no one shoots at him on his first bump, then he's going to make the next bump. And my guy runs out to the, remember Julian?
Yeah.
Runs out to the corner, makes a beautiful move, shoots the guy running in there, chillaxes, no one's shooting at him. I'm looking at him like, hey, man, it's time to giddy up. It's time to go. Not so much.
Not so much.
And he's a great player. He's had some great games out here, but he's just now figuring out hey, if no one's stopping me, no one's stopping me.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
That's what X-Ball is all about. If no one's stopping you got to go.
Yeah, and it's sensing those moments like you were saying, because that's the whole thing. You got to pick up on that variable as quick as possible. We got about 45 seconds before the start of this next point. The score is Shock 1, Bushwackers nothing. And this is going to be the last game for sure for the Bushwackers. So I would kind of like to see, we're going to see where their heads are at,
Yeah, and what I would really like to see is for them to get out of their comfort zone. They're going to go home after this game. So the only thing they can use this game for is to learn to play better X-ball. And you don't learn to play better X-ball by going out there and just doing what you're doing and doing what you're comfortable and doing what you're doing and not winning. You know, they've got to go out there and say, hey, we're going to go to the snake, 3-1, snake out of the break, roll the dice. If we get a guy, we get a guy. And if we don't get a guy, we've got 2 guys in good positions, and we're just going to pressure the guys down the field and get that win.
Yeah, for sure.
From that, they're going to learn. Here we go for the breakout.
We're watching the Bushwackers, and that is the rookie Jerry D'Amato right there into snake 1. Immediately guns up crossfield. He knows his shot, so that's pretty good.
He's a great little player. We practiced against him last week, and he was definitely a standout on that team. See what Shock does there, though? Where Jerry goes there and looks inside and doesn't look to push. Shock goes outside, no one's shooting at him, goes right to the 50, and now starts shooting people across the field. And that's the difference between an unexperienced X-ball player and an experienced X-ball player.
And now he's rolling his gun over there, top of that Jerry, but McCurley is in there, and looks, he gets shot. Now, there he goes, the rookie. Let's see what he does, if he can do something with it.
Yeah, I was really impressed with him last weekend. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised to see him in excessive jersey soon.
He's in there getting checked out right. Looks like he might have got shot cross field. I don't know. The referee hasn't made a call yet. Looks like he's clean. So it's just him, and it looks like it might be Nick Sloviak in the backfield, in the back bunker from the snake. Neil Eberle's still alive on the opposite side of the field for the Bushwackers.
Yeah, I think it's a 2-on-1 now, and Neil's looking to push down that drill side of the field.
So let's see what Jerry does here. This is, interesting spot. I mean, obviously, he's got to play it smart. Yeah, see there, he's checking off his lanes too, checking off, and he's going to, nice job. Shoots Sloviak, grabs the flag. Good job, man. Good job by the new guy.
That kid's got a lot of potential. From everything I've heard, he's a real nice kid. He's super athletic, super aggressive. Just needs to work a little bit on his decision making. Some of the guys on my team play with him on a lower division team, the Rodents, and he was a standout player on that team too. I was really impressed with him last weekend though, because he was just charging the snake.
And that's what you're looking for too. People are out there all the time, like, what are you guys looking for? What do I have to do to get on the team? We need. Answer that question. What's your answer?
Really clear definition for that. If you can come to practice with us when we're playing against like Aftermath or Dynasty, or one of the top teams, if you can go out and shoot 4 or 5 guys a game, I can almost guarantee you that I will pick you up. I mean, unless you're a really, really bad person. But and consistently. If you can come out there and do your job, whatever that job is, consistently. Then you're ready to play at that level. What happens is I think guys go out and have 2 or 3 good games. Someone gets kind of excited and brings them out to a practice, and then that kid, has 1 or 2 good games and then struggles for the rest of practice. And you got 8 bodies rotating into an infinite amount of points, so you got to be able to go out there and play consistently well.
And that's tough, dude. Consistently well. I mean, that's the holy grail right there.
Especially for someone like as fast and aggressive as we are. When you and I are flying down the field, it's challenging to be consistent. But when that's your position, that's your job. That's what you got to do. As a coach, you can't rely on someone who only performs 25% of the time, because especially when they're playing 100% of the time.
Well, not only that, it's like, like we said, we got to replay. Let's check it out.
I love replays.
All right, so you're watching Jerry here, and he's trying to get a shot on Sloviak, trying to get out to that corner, and then immediately didn't get the shot. Goes crossfield. I think he must have got that guy. Boom. Gets his shot on Aftershock snake player, and then immediately right after that, boom, takes advantage of the situation, gets up there, playing smart. It's a pretty good move by the kid, man. Yeah,
I mean, and he's going out there and getting 2 or 3 Gs a game. I mean, if you got your brand new starter doing that, you should be winning some matches, with other solid players on your roster. I'd like to take a look at that kid over the season. I bet he becomes a real strong player. I mean, just from the the little bit I saw him in practice and that little there.
All right, we'll see on the breakout here. Shock trying to get snake 1. Looks like he's able to get in there.
Looks like he's charging right back up. I saw Shock's first match, and they were just dominant, and it's great to see him. They've struggled the last few years, but it's a really good group of guys, and I really respect the fact that, they don't have a lot of sponsorship. They go out and buy their own paint and practice and come and stand out and play well at the events, and I really respect that,
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys that won't do that anymore.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, it means a lot to them. I mean, paintball's their thing, really. I mean, honestly. Look like Sewers coming out there.
There's a Shock again in the 50 snake.
That's McCurley. Ooh, wiling out. Able to get, looked like, is that Prince? Yeah, taking Prince out. So here comes Aftershock. Going to make that a 2-1 game now. It's still, this game's basically just started.
And where's Shock in the standings, Matty?
They're not doing that good. They lost this morning against X Factor, and coming into today, Aftershock was 1-1, so now they're 1-2. if they win, but they don't have a good point spread, really.
Gotcha, right.
You know, so they're not doing well, basically.
Okay. So both of these teams are looking to play for pride, and hopefully they're sharp enough to play to try to become a better team.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because once you're out of this event, you got to start preparing for the next event immediately, if not now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and honestly, it's like basically
that was a big sigh, man.
Well, I'm just trying to think of like if I'm this team, I'm trying to put myself in their footsteps, and then I'm just like, wow, what a crappy tournament.
And how hard is it to start working on the next tournament when you're just so down from this event?
Yeah, and it's like, it's really hard to do this, especially nowadays when this is not the time when there's any illusions of grandeur where it's like, oh, like people are like, when's paintball going to be Olympics? When's paintball going to be this? When's paintball that? Let's just stop. Let's work on our base. You know what I'm saying? Let's make it the best sport we can make it. Let's not worry too much about that. That will come if it's ever going to.
At this point, we're fighting not to go back to the woods.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, we've gone through such a curve, and I think paintball is kind of a window into everything because we were hurting a couple years ago before the economy started going down, and then so we're kind of a couple years ahead of that, and because of all the economic downturn and all the strife in paintball, we've been put in a tough position where you and I coming up, everything was just wide open, like, oh, you're going to make a bunch of money, you're going to be on TV, you're going to date celebrities, you're going to do all that stuff. Now it's like if you play really hard, you work really hard, you get a paint deal.
Yeah,
and it's
and you'll be happy with that.
Yeah.
You'll be stoked.
Yeah, definitely.
Then you really will be. There goes Ryan Podesta trying to make Snake one. I think he was able to get in there.
That's unbelievable because Ryan's been a really solid back guy for maybe 5, 6, 7 years. To see him take a Snake out of the break in the pro PSP is pretty incredible.
So there's gunned up down the lane. You can see he's trying to get a shot on Aftershock. I think that's Drew.
Bushwackers are pushing up that Dorito side. They're in that 50 Dorito. Oh, no, sorry. Aftershock's in that 50 Dorito across the field. This Bushwhacker in the center, Dorito in the middle. Looking to look inside, maybe make that move across the X. You can tell he's creeping because he wants to go. I don't know if someone's stopping her, if he's looking to get a G before he goes.
You can tell that body language, man. As soon as that body language starts going like that, he's up on his feet. He's getting his gun coming around there.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about earlier, looking for an opportunity, not waiting for it, but trying to make it happen. Switching, looking outside now. Shock's down one player. Bushwhackers have better position. They've got 2 in the Snake, 2 in the Doritos, and 1 in the can on the right side. Shock's down another player now. It's only 2 Shock players left.
They're getting, you can
maybe
tell.
3.
You can tell in their gunfights, though, they're definitely like really tense gunfights because it is such a close game, and they're kind of feeling each other out,
Yeah, it's funny, too, because, the 2 teams are probably somewhat close in skill level, but you can tell the differences in the way they play based on how long Aftershock has been playing X-Ball and how the Bushwhackers just starting off.
Yeah, for sure. They got a good spread, though. Bushwhackers do. Across the field, they got, Shane in that center Dorito.
I think that was a huge pickup for the Whackers. Shane is such a good player, so consistent, been around forever. I think he's really going to help that team.
Great team player, too,
Just money. Just a really good guy all around. I think it hurt him a little bit losing the brothers, but picking up Shane kind of cancels that out, See, now what I think right now what's hurting the Bushwhackers a little bit is they don't have that X-Ball experience. So they've got a 3-on-5 situation with positions down a point. They need to start making something happen. They need to run the guy in the Snake. They need to shoot the guy in the can. They need to shoot the guy in the Judo. But they need to try to make something happen, not just sit there and hope that Shock makes a mistake, because I don't think they're going to.
Yeah, neither do I.
And there's nothing stopping the Bushwhacker player, either one of the Bushwhacker players in the Snake, from going to the next knuckle of the Snake, which really widens those shots out from that 50 and puts them in a better position to trade out with that Snake in front of them.
Oh, they finally get that G out the Dorito side. But, with the dominant field position and numbers that the Bushwhackers have, they probably should be thinking about taking some more ground. There we go. Yeah. Finally, Brentz is making his move. There goes Shane.
This game should have been over probably a minute ago.
Yeah, for sure. There goes Prince. Oh, Prince. Wow, that's bad death by Prince there, trying to just get across there. It looks like
Shane out of the X, too.
Wow, just bad.
And that's why you have to capitalize when you have the positions in the bodies, because now it's a 3-on-2 instead of a 5-on-3. And Bushwhackers have lost that advantage and that momentum.
And now it's like, you got just one over here left on. You just basically got Ryan Podesta over here on the Snake side. It's Snake 1. You got 2 Bushwhacker players on the Dorito side, but it's really going to be up to Sewers now. He's got the best field position.
And the Bushwhacker player in the Dorito corner, he's completely out of play. He can't shoot at the Snake, can't really keep the can from doing anything, so what's he doing back there, He needs to get in the game, and he certainly should have been in the game when it was a 5-on-3. I guess it's just part of the learning curve, you know?
Yeah, again, just like you said, it's going to take time. It's going to take time for these guys to figure it out. I mean, they had 5 guys against basically 2, and then now it's 2 on 3, and the 3 really isn't pressing at all. So
and if you look at the shot guys, they're not watching over each other.
No, they're not.
Neither guy is looking, consistently across the field. So the middle of the field has been wide open for the longest time. Now the snake is wide. The tape is wide open.
Oh, finally Sewers gets a shot on. Oh, but they trade out. It looked like.
Now a 2-on-1. Now the guy that comes out of the corner, but I think he should have done it a long time ago. Wow. Comes down to just one Bushwhacker alive. And again, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but that is really the difference between a strong X-ball team and a team that's just kind of learning how to do it and kind of building a team.
So that was Mike Martin there for the Bushwhackers. Are you familiar with Mike Martin at all?
Oh, yeah. Mark Martin and I go way back.
Cool. Break it down for me.
We met on a beach in San Pablo. It was right after graduation. It's a touching story. I don't know if it's one that would want me to get into right now. But
it's okay. It's all right. It's a family show. So
yeah, it's probably better I don't talk about it then.
Okay. We'll save it for later. So now that we got we got ourselves a game. 12 minutes and 55 seconds left. Let's say if you were the coach of the Bushwhackers right now, what would you try to be saying in their pits?
Look for those opportunities to win the game. Look for those opportunities when, if you're in the snake and no one's shooting at you, go forward. If you're in the Doritos, no one's shooting at you, go forward. Try to win the breakout and then be more aggressive. And, if the Bushwhackers have an opportunity, I think they're going to sit there and do what they did. On the flip side, if Aftershock has an opportunity, they're going to look to make moves and win that game.
Absolutely.
And it's tough when you're playing against a team like that because, as you know, if you look away for a second, you might have just lost that game.
And I'll tell you what, Aftershock, if they were up 5-on-2, probably wouldn't have taken as long to try to do something.
Certainly not.
Yeah, and again, they kind of did, here and then here. It wasn't really like any sort of coordinated effort.
And again, you see the guy in the can looking on his Dorito side. You see the snake with his head down. So you got 4 guys against 2 guys, but that one guy is the only guy shooting his gun. So there's 3 guys out there that no one is shooting at and not looking to win that game.
Yeah.
So I would be pretty critical of that. Not overly so because you don't want to get in their head, but you got to kick them in the butt and say, hey man, who was stopping you from going?
Yeah.
This guy. No, he wasn't. So you need to go.
And as far as confirmed kills go, we don't really have a lot for the Bushwhackers, which means that no one's really dominating enough to make their presence known.
Which on one hand is good. That means you're having a good team effort. But then on the other hand, you're not having standouts. Obviously, that kid in the snake, that second game was a real big standout.
Yeah,
second point.
Jerry D'Amato.
Yeah. It's awesome too because the kid's about 3'2". Tiny little kid.
We're looking in here at the pits right now. It's Bushwhacker pits, and all right, we see the breakout. That's Prince there sliding out to the corner.
Shock loses one out of the break, going to the Dorito corner. Shock drops 2, 3-on-5. Bushwhackers are definitely winning the beginning of these games.
Sloviak, they're able to get out to the corner for Aftershock on the snake side.
Shane House fills that center Dorito again. Looking inside, controlling. Neil Everly's in the back center. Bushwhackers lose one off the snake corner. What's that kid's name again?
Jerry D'Amato.
Jerry D'Amato's in a position to fill the snake, and right now, no one's really looked like they're stopping them. The back center is the only one. Okay, 2-on-4 now. 2-on-4 with Bushwhackers advantage. Bushwhackers go to 50 Dorito.
That's Sewers up there.
That's a 4-on game.
Oh, look at that. Sewers feasting on that Dorito side. So it looks like Bushwhackers are going to go up 3-2 here with 12 minutes and 6 seconds left. Nice job by Greg Sewers on the Dorito side of the field. Poor Nick Sloviak just all there by himself in the back. God, will you guys stop dying?
What the hell? Yeah. Nobody told me that was the game plan. I really think Shock's got to go back and look at the breakouts. They're losing 1 or 2 guys on the breakouts or within the first 5-10 seconds, putting the Bushwhackers in a dominant field and number position, and they're just not willing to. They're not able to battle back out of that.
All right, so we got our score. Score now 3-2. That D'Amato kid's pretty good.
Yeah, well, he's from Northern California, okay? So
no, there's no good paintball players
pretty much
in Northern California.
Enough said. Northern California.
Especially Central Valley. I mean, God. Oh.
I think he's from Modesto, in fact. He's not, but I'm drafting him. I'm drafting that kid.
Where in North Cali is he from?
Modesto, I just told you that. I have no idea, man.
Oh, wait, I asked. I think he's from Concord.
Oh, he's hard then. He's hard as nails.
I mean, might as well be from Stockton.
Not that hard. That's like laser hard.
So how do you feel about your franchise? Sponsor-wise, player-wise, on anything you want to talk about?
I feel pretty good. Honestly, I have the best group of kids in the world, which I'm learning is a problem, because there's such nice kids that when I tell them to do something and they don't agree with me, they say, yes, I'd be happy to go do that. And so I say, hey, why didn't that work? I don't know. It's my fault. I'm like, Jesus, it's not your fault.
I need some feedback.
Yeah, please tell me.
I don't know everything.
Yeah, Mike is coaching for us for this event. He's doing a great job. But he's like, they're not giving me feedback. I'm like, give up. I was like, I've been trying for 2 seasons with these kids, and they've got to get past that. I'm like, you're not here to please me, man. I'm here to please you. I'm here to just try to make you the best player in the world. And if you want to make me happy, kill people, win every game.
Yeah.
And but I can't. You can't really effectively help me help you unless you tell me what's going on, man. If I tell you to do something and you can't do it, and you just come back and do it over and over and over again, you got to come back and say, hey, Rich, I can't do that. That's stupid. I was like, the reason Excessive was so good is because we had so many sharp people giving me input. We were able to feather that all out and put that all together. I was like, it wasn't me telling everybody what to do. Trust me. Break out to the corner. He gets to the snake corner live. That's big. You can see the God players there standing over the top. They lose they lose 2 again on the break. Matt, it's a broken record. They lost 2 again on the break.
I know. It's just nonstop, man.
But look at that. Player's down, and he charges right into the 50 snake. And that's what a good X-Ball player and X-Ball team will do. Letting that guy fell out to the corner hurt a little bit. Well, Shane Howe's all over that little Dorito, or is that somebody else?
Nah, Shane Howe. Neil Eberle, the only player left alive.
That's all you need. That's all you need. One Neil Eberle. Neil Eberle's got his second baby on the way.
Oh, wow. I thought Neil was going to pull off another 3-on-1 for a second. He chewed up that one guy trying to come at him.
Honestly, Neil doesn't really get going unless it's a 4-on-1. So I don't think he's going to, in my opinion, I don't think he's going to really try too hard against it on a 3-on-1. It's a little bit beneath him. It's nice out here, huh? A little bit better than home? A little bit warmer?
Well, actually, no. This is probably exactly what it's like in San Diego right now. How's it in NorCal?
Exactly the same.
Liar.
Yes. Freezing, raining, wet, cold, miserable.
You know what story I like to tell is the, so it's the first couple of practices of the year, and we drive, 8 hours to Rich's Field, and then it's 32 degrees in the morning. Or no, not even worse. It would be worse. Then we go to Bobby's Field, and Bobby's shooting 25 balls a second with his machine guns.
At 350.
At 350, and then you get shot in your hands, and you just,
I know he broke my finger.
I can't feel my fingers.
I know that he broke my finger. You can't break a finger with a paintball. He broke my finger, I'm telling you.
Is it still there? Because it doesn't feel like it is.
Yeah, you remember like Anthony and those kids on my team? I give those kids credit because he's been coming out for, 6 years, just grinding it out, just diving and just over and over and over again. And never is he like, I don't want to play because my leg hurts or kid's got nothing but heart, man. Real strong.
Well, and then also the spool drill. You gotta love the spool drill.
Still doing.
You guys still doing those?
Every weekend.
Yeah, man.
Every weekend. Well, my guys made a mistake. That explicit team that's kind of coming up in Northern California, they came out to a practice and beat our guys at the spool drill. And for the next 3 weekends, they paid and paid and paid.
What's the team called? Explicit?
Explicit, yeah.
Coming up?
Yeah. I mean, they've got a young team. There's a couple, like 2 older guys, but everyone else is real young. They've been playing for about 2 years now from the Bay Area. They're making a big jump playing pro, but they're rolling the dice and seizing the opportunity and trying to learn from the top up. And they again a lot of heart. Like those guys come out, and I'm like, hey, no one's coming out this weekend. I'm gonna play. I'm just gonna do drills at my place, and every one of them shows up to do drills with me. I'm like, wow, I did not expect that.
How many they got?
Like 12.
12?
Yeah.
Wow. All right, let's see the breakout right here. The score now 3-3. It's all tied up. Great game.
Bushwackers lose one out of the snake corner, and Shock gets all 5 alive, which is going to be a big advantage for them because they haven't had that in the last 4 points. Shock's got 2 out of back center. Wow, Bushwackers love that Dorito in the center of the field right next to the X there.
Yeah, they really do.
Bushwackers in the 50 Dorito.
Well, that's because Shane Howe gets there every single game, no problem.
Yeah. That's a big advantage. Okay,
and
Shock loses their first player.
And then they got Sewers over. Ooh, Sewers almost got shot. You got to be careful there. He's getting that 50 Dorito pretty consistently, but there we go. That's Mike Martin, I believe.
Shock
number 25 for Bushwackers.
Sorry about that. Shock loses another player, but then fills out to the Dorito. So they got 3 across the field now. Oh, nope. Shock's dropped another guy. 2 on 4 now. And again, this is where the Bushwackers need to just charge down the field. Ryan fills back to the corner instead of filling forward into the snake. It's a 4-on-1. With one guy in the snake, and the Bushwackers are just sitting there shooting their guns.
Nice job by Sewers, and Shane is getting to that Dorito like almost every single game.
Yeah, and even if he's not killing people, he's drawing guns and shutting lanes off.
Yeah.
So he's contributing, and that's a big part,
Yeah, because you have to deal with that guy. I mean, he's far enough up the field, and not only does he Just like you said, it draws guns, but you also have to watch him because he could just jump over the center 50 or get to X or maybe move across.
So it'll be 4-3 now. Bushwackers in the lead.
Under 10 minutes. Yep. It's again, this is a pride game, so I think both teams are doing a good job of trying to fight for that pride. It's not a blowout. No one's getting killed.
I agree. I would say, though, that I'm a little disappointed that the Bushwackers aren't I think they're content to just go out and try to win this game. And what I would like to see as a coach is for them to go out and try to learn to be better X-ball players.
Mm-hmm.
When they have a 4-on-2, just to have instead of have Ryan filling back to the snake corner, running down that snake and trying to get a guy, or diving into 50 snake, or learning how to play aggressively and learning how to seize opportunities before the window closes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think they've kind of said, we're just going to go win this game because we haven't, we're not playing well. We just need to win a game.
Yeah, for sure.
And at some point, they've got to learn to be a good X-ball team. They've got a great mentor coach in Ron and Neil and Ryan, so they've got the support that they need. They got good sponsorship, but they got to bite the bullet and do, just like everything in life, you can't practice what you're good at. You gotta practice what you're not good at, and you got to push yourselves into those areas you're not comfortable with.
It's so hard to do that, though. Because it takes that mental toughness to be honest enough with yourself to be like, you know what, I'm not good at whatever it is.
Anything for me.
Yeah.
No, I agree with that. I think in all things in life, that's one of the hardest things is, introspective and being critical of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I think it's important to have a good coach or 2 or 3 good coaches, because you're always going to see yourself as a little bit smarter, a little bit faster, a little bit better at everything than you probably are.
Yeah. And then not only that, but it's like coaches you respect and that you'll listen to.
Yep.
Because if you don't listen to your coaches, why do you have them around?
Yeah, I agree 100%. Don't waste their time or yours.
Yeah, either get a new coach if you don't listen to them, or don't have a coach. I remember that was such a hard thing for us for so long. All right, so there it is on the breakout. That Shock flying out there. I believe that's Curly and Nick Sloviak.
Shock losing another guy early again. This time from the Dorito side. Yeah, can you imagine if we'd have taken X-ball?
Look at that. There they go. Shock just getting up there as quick as possible.
That's a big advantage. The guy from across the field in the turret is shooting across, so he knows he's there, so he's lost a little bit of his advantage.
They let D'Amato spin again.
But no one's going to be able to move it out that Dorito side now with that snake position being so far up in the snake. Oh, and there he goes. Bushwackers are down to just Neil Eberly, I believe, in the snake corner.
Weird.
Yeah, it's 4-on-1 now, and I think as soon as Shock figures out that it's 4-on-1, they're going to look to just fly down the field and execute, They're just rolling their
Somebody
guns.
wants that free confirmed kill. Oh, yeah. There we go.
Yeah, I was going to talk to you about that. I think the stats aren't working because I saw my stats. Wow, way off. Way off.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? I saw it was like 35 confirmed kills or something at one point.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't shoot anybody yet. And I'm like, I'm trying to be honest with it, and I'm trying to help, because I don't want the system not to work, based on me.
Yeah, for sure.
And, I've given that guy taking the stats a lot of money, but I specifically said I'm not giving this money to pad my stats. I specifically said that. So I'm going to talk to him a little bit more about it.
Yeah, maybe you should,
So what's the score?
Looks like it's going to be 4-4.
And who's winning?
Nobody.
Ooh,
It's actually
everybody.
It's called I think it's called a tie.
Tie.
Yeah. 9 minutes and 5 seconds left. So lots of game.
Lots of game. Yeah, I'm glad the games are evening out a little bit earlier in the weekend. There was lots of 7-1, 6-2s, and the games are over so fast. I argue with Tony Mignon. I was like, hey man, you took out the 2 halves, so you took out the half times, and you took out another timeout. I'm like, now, like if you try to throw a timeout, for momentum, because the team's got just blown through you, and you need to change the momentum. If you have a gun that goes down or a player that gets hurt, you've just lost 2 points because you got no timeout to spare yourself.
And it's like, look what happened to what team is it? Damage.
Yep.
I mean, they lost
two players.
broken rib and to Rittenhouse, and possibly, I don't know what's wrong with El Yusuf, but he hurt his foot and his leg, and he limped off badly and never came back.
Yeah. The worst injuries are the self-inflicted ones, because you really can't be mad at anybody other than like for the first kid, maybe the post that he dove into.
Yeah.
Well, who put the post there? Yeah, I saw him running in, and I was just like, take it easy, because it's always so slippery back there, because all the take it easy, and I see him dive in. I see him hit the post. I'm like, oh, that's a broken collarbone. That's a broken collarbone. I've seen it 1,000 times before. He gets up, and he's holding his rib. I'm like, or a broken rib.
Yeah.
It could go either way.
Well, he got up, and he did the whole, took a breath. Look at the timeout called by Bushwackers. The broken rib. The clutch the side, and then take a deep breath, and then all of a sudden, oh God, I can't breathe. Oh my God, and then like kind of goes over. It's like, ew, yeah. He either got the wind knocked out of him and can't breathe, or he's got a little crack in his rib.
I'm gonna go on record right now and say that kid did not break his rib.
You think so?
I've had a broken rib before, and it's right up there with the most excruciating pain you've ever had in your life for 6 months or so.
Really?
Like every breath you take, and every time you heal up, and you get hit like in your chest, or you get hit in the leg or something, and you're like, oh, I'm fine. Wham! You're like, oh, I'm not fine.
Yeah.
It's devastating.
And then it takes forever to heal too, because I don't know if anyone's ever read the book A Fighter's Heart, but Sam Sheridan, the guy that wrote that book, he had rib, he had problems with his rib. So he hurt his rib, and then he's laid off of training for a long time. And then I was chatting with them via MySpace, Wonders of MySpace, and I was like, how's the training going? You know what I'm saying? And he was like, I busted my rib again. It's like one of those things that it just constantly plagues you if you don't let it heal properly.
And for me personally, I was training a lot when I broke my rib, and literally every breath you take where you're expanding and contracting the rib cage is excruciating,
For 6 months.
Yeah, and it goes up and back. Like, oh, it's getting better, and you get smashed again. You're like, it's worse, and it's just so painful. And people always throw out that I've got a broken rib or I've got a cracked rib, and I'm just like, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Well, the only reason I say that is because the stat guys were over there, and they actually had the paramedics over there, apparently. So, I mean,
Yeah. No, I know. I heard. My guess is maybe a little bit of a crack or maybe some torn cartilage.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to roll the dice, I'd say he probably, and obviously, hopefully he didn't break his rib, because that way he'll heal up a lot faster. But I've broken my rib, and I've seen a few people with broken ribs, and it's not good.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Yeah, collarbone's painful, too. I've had that happen to me.
Yeah.
All right, 4-4 right now. 9 minutes and 4 seconds left.
Shock is playing really well, considering they're losing every single breakout.
Yeah, I mean have they started with 5 one time?
They start every game with 5, but then immediately lose 1 or 2 of them.
Yeah, true. I mean, like 5 seconds after the breakout.
Well, and what is keeping them in the game, in my opinion, is the fact that the Bushwackers don't capitalize. They get up that body, but then they don't do anything.
Well, that's that timing you were talking about. I mean, it's really tough. Because they've been playing a different format to come in here and immediately seize those opportunities. I mean, but still, like, that's the coaching thing too. It's like you got to drill it in. Hey, we shoot a guy off the break, man. Somebody put that guy in and get out, and then get up.
It's a 5-on-3 again. And the Bushwackers are content to sit there and lock up the field with a tie score.
Yeah.
I mean, and they lose a body now. And like Neil's in that back center, on a 5-3 in the back center, he's not contributing anything.
And you got Templeton coming up there for Aftershock, trying to he's in the little Dorito.
Bushwackers lose another body. Now it's a 3-on-3.
Wow.
Luckily, they trade out and they shoot one guy. So now it's a 2-on-3. But, again, Aftershock shoots a guy and goes forward, even down on bodies. And the Bushwackers are content to sit there.
And that's Nick Sloviak, I mean, he's still pushing into him even though they're down numbers, because he has to take that spot. Can't just hide in that back.
That's right. And again, that's something that the Bushwackers they've got tons of experience and tons of brains, so they're going to get past this hurdle. But the sooner they figure out that it is a hurdle and start trying to get past it, the faster that they're going to become a more dominant team in the PSP here.
Yeah, absolutely.
I tell you right now, as a coach, if we're playing 5-on-3 and my guys aren't getting it up, there's you've done it with me 1,000 times. We do 3-on-5 drills.
Yep.
And you do a 3-on-5 drill, and there's 3 guys shooting at 3 of you, and the other 2 guys are expected to move. And if they're not moving, then you critique after the game and say, who stopped you? Oh, this guy was stopping you.
Yeah, and then for people that are listening that want to know, how do we get?
Look at that. Shock pushes in again.
Yeah. How do we do that? On our practice? Well, somebody needs to be standing on the sidelines going, who's shooting at you? What's stopping you?
I think Neil Bailey just got shot in the barrel.
Oh, nice job by Prince to seize on that. Not that, I mean, they had the numerical superiority anyway, but
Neil just got away with something.
Oh, maybe not. He just got a penalty. Saw a little yellow flag fly in the air. Again, if you just tuned in, penalties have changed a little bit. You got a 1-minute minor penalty. That's the yellow flag. Minor penalties come off the board if you lose the point. Stay on if you win. Major penalty is a 2-minute. And that's the red flag, and that thing stays up there until it comes off.
Yeah, I like the new penalty system a lot better. I mean, having a guy in the box for 4 minutes, it's just, you get 2 guys in the box. Guys fly out a long ways to play paintball, and sitting in that box for a long time is not so much fun, especially if you're doing it for Thomas Taylor. It's so good when it touches your lips. So how's everything going with you, buddy?
Good, man.
I got to tell you, I went back and watched the webcast from World Cup, and I was very impressed. I mean, the sections I was in were terrible, but everything else, I mean.
I was just going to say, I thought you did a good job. I'm not saying that just because you're here. I actually told other people that, too. Believe it or not. Yeah, did. No lie. Look, fingers aren't crossed or anything.
and my toes either. But, I mean, it was really crisp. It was really clear. And you were able to see so much of what was going on in the game. And then having someone there commenting on it at the same time for people who aren't really experienced with paintball, I think it was, for me as a player, it was great to go back and watch. And like you said, like Montrose, study the films. But for guys that don't know what's going on, to have someone there telling them what's going on, letting them see it, I think it's great for the sport, man.
Well, I'm excited because, the PSP's definitely been down to support the concept and really dive into it. Like, for instance, we had 3 cameras on the field for World Cup, and we have 5 on the field for this one.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. The one thing I would say is that, if you're a company out there, come sponsor the PSP and the webcast. Come pay for the webcast so we can just get better and better and better, I mean, that it takes a lot of money to do this kind of thing, and I'm not in here with you guys in the trenches, but I have an idea what it costs. Well, and it's a huge thing you're doing, so the more support you guys can get, the better.
And the tough thing is, we're trying to do a lot with a little too. We got guys out here working 16, 18-hour days to try to get stuff done so people didn't sleep last night, but that's what it takes right now. So, but basically the situation is that we're trying to bring the statistics into it, and basically this is a sport. We need to make it as much of a sport complete as possible.
I agree, and I think this is a huge step towards doing that.
There
Looks like the Bushwackers.
Jerry D'Amato for the rookie for the Bushwackers. Minor penalty was assessed on Ian Martin for talking after hit on that last point right there. So, I'm sorry, Aftershock. So Aftershock got to play it down a body.
Well, apparently it helped them because they didn't lose a guy out of the break this time. So now they're playing 4-on-4.
They're used to playing with 4.
Yeah, so now they're playing 4-on-4 after shooting one of the Bushwackers. There goes Greg Sewers to that 50 Dorito again.
Oh, yep. Greg Sewers gets shot trying to make it into that 50 Dorito. And there's Shane Howell in the 40 Dorito constantly.
Shockingly.
Weirdly enough. But he gets shot out of his bunker, so both Sewers and Howell die out of their spots, leaving that Dorito side completely open.
3-on-1.
Prince walks off at the exact same time, so it's just the rookie Jerry D'Amato left. And, there's not much he can do with that. So we got 5 minutes and 57 seconds left on the clock. Hell of a match. Chicago, since they won that point, will have to start again with 4, but that's nothing new. They're losing a body every single game off the break.
Well, I mean, it worked for them, right?
I think they should do it. I think it's going to be better for him with that minor penalty. Because then that guy gets to look and see what happens and then break 11 seconds after the start of the match.
I think it's a huge advantage. They should have figured that out earlier.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that. That's Billy Bernanke. That guy is ripped. Honestly, I don't want to get him in trouble, but I think steroids might be an issue. Billy Bernanke, either some kind of performance-enhancing drug. Some kind of performance-enhancing drug. That's a shot of Prince there getting there. One of the stronger
players on that team.
Yeah, real strong, real consistent guy. There's a show out of
lots of tattoos,
shot guys.
Amazing tattoos.
I'm such a big fan.
I don't know who does his work.
Hot guys of tattoos. Just love it. It's interesting seeing Shock in all the new Eclipse gear, right?
Yeah, lots of sponsorship changes this year.
Yeah, seeing JR walking around in Ironman gear.
Yeah, JR in Ironman gear, Dynasty and Empire stuff.
Yeah, it's just like they walk right by and you're like, who? Whoa, what? And like even. I'm so comfortable and know John so well, and then I see him run into the corner, and I'm like, who's that?
Yeah.
Because everything fits kind of differently, so he doesn't even have that look. You know? You're just like, oh, it's Johnny. Wow, like he looks completely different. Man.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's a new year. I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of getting used to this craziness in the off season though, because it's just every year it's like, wow, can it get any crazier? And then we just set new records for craziness every single time.
No, I agree, and that's a really good point because 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, you just played paintball. And at the end of the season, you took a week or 2 off, and you got back, and now it's like, oh my God, the whole world ended again.
Yeah.
The next year, and well, at least it can't be any worse than that next year. And oh my God, it's twice as bad as it was last year.
Yeah.
So it's definitely crazy.
Looking at some of the kills for Bushwackers this game, Sewers clocking in, getting 7 confirmed kills.
That's awesome.
Shane Howell was 6, so they're doing a lot of work over there on that Dorito side of the field.
Those guys are definitely holding it down. Bushwackers down 1 body, but looks like Ryan took the snake again out of the break. That's big. 4-on-4. Bushwacker guy in the back center gets a bounce. Prince fills out to God, misses it, but crawls in there anyway.
So this is a really big point, obviously, because as the time is running down. But if you can get this point and if get some time off the clock, now, then it's going to be really tough for the other team to because then you have to score 2, or score 1 to tie it, have a really long point.
Yeah, ideally, one of these 2 teams wants to get in controlling position where they have good field position and they're up on bodies and they can grind as much of the clock down as possible.
Yeah.
Win the point with very little time left so that the other team doesn't have a ton of team to come back and score a point or 2.
Mm-hmm.
Bushwackers drop another player. Now it's 3-on-5. Prince fills out to the corner.
Oh, Prince takes one in the arm, though, right after he got in.
See a Shock guy just running that guy down, man. And
Podesta gets shot as well out of his bunker.
That was a real strong point for Shock, winning with 4 bodies left alive. A little over 4:40 left in this game, 6-on-5. The Bushwhackers have to come back, win the breakouts that they did earlier, and as strong as they did earlier. Battle back, get that point, and it's going to be a 6-6 game with 1 minute, one point will decide the win and loss.
Yeah, so now Chicago 1 point away from the victory. Still a ton of time left, though. You know, I mean, there is 4 minutes and 37 seconds left. So.
And at the rate they're playing, most likely the game's not going to run out. You know, one of these teams is going to beat the other team, and there'll still be a couple minutes left on the clock. They're not. Although Bushwhackers aren't really capitalizing a lot of these, they're still not slow, long points. And I think a lot of that has to do with Aftershock's aggressiveness. You know, those guys, even down on bodies, are still coming forward.
Yeah,
you know, some of the other teams up on bodies are locking it up. Like Damage is one of those teams that are a really, really good X-Ball team, but they don't drop the hammer. And Shock's always been known for dropping the hammer and coming down the field.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, and even in their transition to this new incarnation of their team, they still kind of have that vibe. You know?
I apologize. What do we call the sport that we play now?
The what? Pain laser tag?
No, I mean, I know there's a new moniker. It's not X-Ball. It's
just pro. Just pro.
As we go forward, we go backwards.
Yeah.
As we go forward, we go. Honestly, I wasn't sure.
PSP Pro.
I just think X-Ball. You know, just saying it for so long.
No, yeah, and you know, I mean, and you know, eventually they're going to get rid of this X. It's going to be that A, you know, which I think will be interesting too.
Yeah, like the half X.
Yeah,
right?
half X. Yeah.
Yeah, I was. I'll be interested in seeing how that plays out. You know, how tall can you shoot over it? Can you not shoot over it? Can you know how you can edge? It's interesting the field the way it's set up right now. Some of the better teams are edging kind of like they used to back in the old days.
Yeah.
Where a guy will step out and kind of use the edge of the X to put paint across on his mirror or on the back center. I got caught that first game against Vicious. You know, I was shooting my spot I was supposed to shoot. I look up and there's a guy standing there. I'm like, that's not good for me.
Hey, I got a question about the Vicious game. I watched your guys' games, and you guys are just murdering people, but the Vicious game was terrible. What happened to you guys?
First of all, we're not very good at paintball. So that's a big disadvantage when you're playing against a strong team.
Hey, I watched the last game when you skunked them.
Yeah.
So I don't want to hear that.
We had 6 points that we played 4-on-5. We had 2 points that we played 3-on-5.
I hear you.
And they were just beating us in the breakout. So that combination is very tough to beat.
All right, so let's see what here. That's it looks like Prince dying off the break. Oh, the frustration. You can see he's patting his head and cursing the gods. Here comes Aftershock up the Dorito side of the field. Looks like Templeton.
This game's over. This game's over.
Yeah, and look at that. They put D'Amato in to try to do something. Couldn't get anything done, and unfortunately for the Bushwhackers, is Everly trying to do damage control, streaking out to the side. That's it. Yeah, this game's over.
Oh, yeah, sure. Now the game's over. It wasn't over 5-10 seconds ago.
I'm just co-signing on what you said.
So it's a 5-on-1. Hopefully they don't put on him too bad, and Shock gets the win. And that was, Shock started off real strong. Bushwhackers came back and started winning those breakouts. And then once Shock started figuring out how to get to 4 or 5 bodies out there alive, it was tough for the Bushwhackers to capitalize. And the few points that they had, a lot of bodies and a lot of real estate, they just didn't capitalize well enough.
Yeah, so that's the story.
It was a good match, though.
It was a tight match. It was close. You know, back and forth, but ultimately, Shock just a little bit better at this format, I think.
Yeah, and I think the standout on the team for the Bushwhackers was that Kid and the Snake, and Greg and Shane on the other tape. Those 3 players really kind of pulled the weight for the Bushwhackers. For Shock, it looked like it was more of a team effort. You know, all the way across the field, they were getting G's and making moves.
Absolutely. So, next up we have Seattle taking on Philly.
I will bet you the Philly wins.
Really?
I would go
out on a limb
as high as $1.
Really?
Philly is playing really, really. I like, and not only are they playing really, really good, they've got these like different kind of crazy breakouts that they're doing that are really awesome, like doubling up this bunker or running here, shooting, zigging back in, shooting, and then diving into another bunker. So it's I like watching Philly. They're an entertaining team.
Yeah, they are. And dude, honestly, those guys, I got to spend some time with them past year. Really good guys, man. Really solid, good guys.
Honestly, I think the core of that team has been together for 3, 4, 5 years now. We've talked, and they're really nice dudes. I mean, like Montronser, Ryan Moorhead, I mean, they're really nice guys. I mean, not only are they good paintball players, but not the maniacal egomaniacs that so many guys fall into when they become a good player, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we're going to be watching that game in just a little bit. I think Rich might have to go to a meeting. You going to go to that meeting?
I have to go to, and there's nothing I love more than going to meetings.
Yeah, so, I know how big of a meeting you are.
I would pay a lot of money to be able to stay here and hang out with you and talk on the webcast, but then I would get in trouble. So yeah, I have to go. Thank you very much for letting me come up here. I really appreciate it.
I love having you up here, and good luck tomorrow.
Yeah, I think you and Pat and the guys downstairs are doing a great job. Please keep up the good work, man.
We're trying.
For all of us out there that enjoy watching paintball.
All right, well, we're going to be back in just a few moments as you're watching Shock and congratulate each other on the win. And
I promised myself I wouldn't cry. I promised myself. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
All right, so going to take a quick little couple second break, eat a delicious carne asada quesadilla courtesy of Big Carlos and his dad. Thank you to the Hitmen. And we'll be back in just a few moments. We got Seattle taking on Philly. And we're also going to get a little part 2 and check out a guy named Matt Miller playing for Team Fierce in one of our divisional profiles.
That guy's crazy.
Don't go anywhere.